And what we would like to do is every single year, we go ahead and give our fire companies some financial support from East Cocalico Township for their services, for what they're doing, for equipment, for everything that they need to do. We've done this for years and years and years, forever. We truly appreciate and understand, and I've actually learned quite a bit. I actually personally totally underestimated just how much work they put in, how much sacrifice is involved. One of the things that's not often talked about is the effects on family and personnel and their personal lives in terms of when they volunteer, when they get called out on calls. Unfortunately, some of the things that they probably see that the rest of us do not see. And we never think about that. And I would just ask the public to think about that. And I want to personally thank them for everything that they do. We have the 3 chiefs here, correct?
2.
I'm sorry, we have,
1 chief, 2 presidents.
sorry, 1 chief, 2 chiefs, 1 president. 1 chief, 2 presidents, excuse me.
Library's coming.
The library's
people are
coming.
all- Yeah, they said they're gonna be a little late.
That's fine. So, gentlemen, do you have anything to say before we present them?
Thank you for your service. Doesn't go unrecognized. It's hard to get volunteers. Hang in there. Hopefully it gets better. And we all hope that it turns for the better for all of us, right? Every industry, let alone you guys. And like RC said, you guys deal with a lot, put up with a lot, see a lot. And it takes a lot out of your personal time. And we just really appreciate it. Thank you.
And I just echo my board members' thoughts. We're all glad to have you volunteering in the community.
So, you're the new guy, okay? So would you be kind enough to, is that okay?
I'll jump across, sure, I gotta walk around.
Okay, you gotta walk around. No, you can't jump. So that's.
The question is, can you jump?
Smokes
We'll give them
town,
money on
rings
laughing,
town.
so that's a good thing, you know? Smart.
Thank you again, gentlemen. I mean, and ladies, we just can't say enough.
Sure. You grab a picture of the board.
You want a picture?
The board will come around. Thank you. Sure.
No, he's the new guy. He's the new picture.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
We'll stand up in the back. How's that?
We're a team, right?
One more. There we go.
Great, thank you. And again, I'll say one final thing about our emergency services. They are volunteers, okay? They're always looking for volunteers. And if anyone's able to do that, absolutely speak with any of them. Thanks again.
We also have to check for Adams Town Library.
Correct. So we also have a check here. It's our annual donation to the Adamstown Library. We've been doing this for many, many years also. So I have this check here for the Adamstown Library.
They will be coming soon.
So she's running late, so that's here also. Thank you. Okay, moving on. So we have the past meeting minutes for approval. Gentlemen, were there any changes, any corrections, anything at all?
I think we got it squared away.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 Board of Supervisor meeting minutes.
And I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, action items, land planning and engineering. Brett, please.
Good evening. What we have tonight is 2 time extensions, minor, I'll call it a minor improvement proposed at Woodcrest Retreat, and then also a typical stormwater for single family dwelling. So the first item would be Black Horse Wright Partners that submitted a preliminary final land development, final subdivision land development plan. That plan is still in process. They've advanced aspects of their permitting submissions and been coordinating with PennDOT. Currently have information in process with PennDOT. We had also initiated some review of their land development plan and provided some initial comments. Based on the current deadline for action, they have offered a written time extension, which we would recommend for acceptance, which would extend the deadline for action by the township until August 23rd, 2022. So if there aren't any other questions, the motion would be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated June 10th, 2022, which will extend the deadline for action on the preliminary final subdivision land development plan for Black Horse Warehouse until August 25th, 2022.
Hey, Brett, you didn't expect anyone here from the applicant.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second that. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, just from me to Brent there, is there just some kind of housekeeping odds and ends there they're trying to tie together, or?
No, more than that. It's in the early stages of the land development review. It's a large project, large set of plans, a lot of information relative to drainage, stormwater, and other concerns. Also includes a lot of roadway infrastructure, signal plans. So, it's early in the process. They're dealing with other agencies too, such as NPDS permitting, the conservation district.
So they could be asking for another extension at some point.
Yeah, and I would word it differently. They could be offering the township another extension. Sometimes these are viewed oddly by the public. It sounds like they're granting them additional time. In reality, the technicalities are that a decision will be required unless additional time is offered. Every applicant realizes that, but there's a lot of outstanding items that they offer the time, and the deadline for action is extended. Typical process.
Understood. Excuse me for the language.
No, that gives you an opportunity to explain, because sometimes it's achieved.
Yep. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Doug Macklin, hey, RC, is this the plan that they want to take some of the land from the township and create that other exit up on Realign Hill Road? Is this the one?
Yeah, Brett.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I know it's been a couple meetings ago, I was questioning where we stand with the township wanting to give away our land to a developer. And I know there was a plan presented where the roadway was shown what I consider quite far off of the property line. And in essence, we're giving this guy land that belongs to us, or this person, or this group, whatever you want to call it. So, and it was just a question on where that stands, please, sir.
I just wanted to clarify, the township will not be giving the developer land. The developer will be improving land owned by the township with a street, a road that the township will own. So we're not transferring land. It's the township of improving township land with, it's the developer improving township land with a road.
That we have to maintain after he leaves.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's nothing for free, we're gonna,
No, but it's not transferring any land. It's township land, just as a road right of way is township land, and we would require a developer to improve right of way or dedicate right of way. The township will actually end up owning more land when this is all said and done as a roadway.
And that includes improvements there, Doug, for us.
and again, my question, the original time was, must it be so far, must we convey, I don't want to use the word give, must we convey so much of our land to this developer? Can we convey less by moving the road closer to the boundary line? That was my first question, and that hasn't changed. I'm not expecting an answer tonight, I just.
No, but it's a valid question.
Keep that in mind.
It's a valid question, and we're still working on the final design.
And I think I can attempt to answer, provide additional information. If you go back to the beginning of the concepts, there were different concepts for that road alignment. Some included a 90-degree bend at the, I'll call it the second curve, or second kink in it. There were alternate alignments evaluated, one of which avoided any impact to any other party's property, and then had a larger kind of reverse sweep into the township property. And then there was one with a radius curve that did include some impacts to adjacent properties. So I think to this point, the answer to your question is the township transportation engineer has worked with their consultant, us and township staff, to try to reduce the impact of that roadway while also realizing we're designing a new roadway, so you generally want it to meet reasonable standards and not accept substandard curvature or other alignment issues. So there is some competing interest that when we're doing that, trying to balance all those factors. And at the same time, I think it should be considered that the roadway does provide some opportunity to provide alternate means of accessing the rear portion of the township property in the future. So we're trying to look at it as ways to connect to that road by the township in the future, and utilize a portion of that to access the rear portion. So it's still in design. Those are some of the comments and feedback we provided to the consultant in conceptual design. They owe us some information. There will be stormwater facilities. Anytime you have additional impervious area, you have to address stormwater requirements, so they are doing that. So we requested that modifications be made to that to try to minimize impact on the township property. There is impact to the township property, but I think you also have to balance it relative to what is the other option for improving Hill Road 272, signalizing that intersection and doing work on the opposing side to create the same cross intersection. So it's kind of a semi-quick answer, but it could be discussed for a long time.
Yeah.
Considering all
And will be.
Yeah,
You know, when the plan is actually before the board and the planning commission, that would be the opportunity to see what the various designs provide, because the designs also include, as Brent said, additional access to the township property, additional access to surrounding properties, additional access opportunities to property across the street from the township property. It's a significant planning item, and we'll have significant time committed to discussing it.
one of the remaining items is continued coordination with adjacent property owners that will be impacted, with additional outreach and general cooperation, and ensuring that staff are following up on that. as part of this. So there's a lot of pieces in the works that can be discussed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Terry Haas. Can anybody use this road then?
Yes.
It's a public
It's a
road.
public road.
It's proposed as a public road.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Next project is Wabash Landing. This would be the third phase. Recently, they started construction on phase 2. This is the submission of phase 3. They approached the planning commission. The planning commission has supported the plan. They had issued a letter, the authority had issued a letter, and they have certain outside agency items to confirm. So similar to the prior project discussed, they have offered a written time extension offer. If accepted, would extend it to September 24th, 2022. So if there's no further questions, the motion would be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated June 10th, 2022, which would extend the deadline for action on the phase 3 final plan for Wabash Landing until September 24th, 2022. I do not expect any delay.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions on the Wabash Landing one? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, that motion carries.
The next project is Woodcrest Retreat. There was a chance that Dave East from Deep and Sons would be here, but the likelihood is he's here.
Jason Martin, I'm
Okay.
Operations Director at Woodcrest.
So we do have a rep.
Say that's not
I won't put him.
It's a good thing, I thought I knew Dave East.
I'll present the information. Woodcrest, as some of the veterans of the audience would know, related to township matters, has over the years implemented various projects on their site. They had a phase 1 expansion of certain aspects. They submitted phase 2 plan, which was kind of a master plan showing various possible expansions of different aspects of their retreat. And then they came back more recently with a phase 3 plan that improved their facility, reception facility, whatever they call it, their gathering building there, and expanded that, provided additional parking areas there. This project is a very minor aspect, and what they're essentially asking is authorization to proceed with an 812 square foot bathhouse with associated ADA parking in that area. And it's in an area that was previously included with prior improvements that were not pursued at this point. Maybe you want to provide some background, but some of the items, the difficulties that the camp, I think, has had over the years is trying to, when we're going through the land development project process, identify enough projects into the future that they're not constantly coming back. But anytime you do that, you're projecting and you're trying to crystal ball what may happen at that point, what the camp needs may be, what the needs of their groups and memberships are, and how to proceed. And as a result, certain aspects of their longer-term plans as presented on certain land development plans don't pan out over the long term. Would that be how you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, basically, as time marches on, things change, and we submitted our land development plan. You know, there was, so to speak, just buildings put here and there, and in hopes that future things would go this way. And the buildings are still, we're still gonna be building buildings, they look different usage, the way we're gonna be using them, the way they set on the property. But many of the stormwater infrastructure is there, obviously, to be reevaluated by our engineer as we get into larger buildings. This building is actually one of two buildings that will replace a large lodge type building. So that's what we're requesting.
Right, so as part of their waiver submission related to land development plan and stormwater, they have identified that the phase 2 plan originally had depicted a 5,712 square foot lodge, which they do not intend to construct, and instead are asking for authorization to proceed with this bathhouse project. So while the motion is a motion to waive subdivision land development requirements, I would think of it more as just waiving the process and identifying that these improvements are minor in nature, generally consistent with prior, are consistent with prior stormwater information provided and existing basins that have been constructed. They do have financial security posted for various aspects of phase 2 and phase 2B yet, and continually work to complete those aspects and get that money released. So unless there's any further questions relative to this project, our recommendation would be to pass a motion to conditionally approve a waiver of the requirements of both the East Cocalico Subdivision Land Development Ordinance and East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management Ordinance for the proposed bathhouse as outlined in the waiver documentation and letter prepared by Stephen Son dated May 19th, 2022, conditioned upon the following. Condition 1, there shall be no further improvements made to the drainage area intended and collected by existing detention basin D2 until the drainage area is reevaluated for 2009 as-built calculations and confirmed to be adequate based on the minor boundary changes shown between the 2009 as-built submission and the 2022 bathhouse proposal. Condition 2, the applicant shall provide proof of confirmation from the Lancaster County Conservation District that the proposed scope of the project and activities are below the requirements of an NPDES permit. Number 3, the applicant shall obtain all necessary building permits from the township and shall ensure 88 parking spaces can be provided in accordance with the township zoning ordinance on an improved asphalt surface and consistent with applicable ADA accessibility standards. Number 4, the applicant shall obtain all necessary approvals, permits, etc. from the East Cocalico Township Authority prior to issuance of any building permits. As a side clarification would be that the entire Woodcrest facility is connected to public sewer. This bathhouse is intended to be connected to public sewer. They are in the process of coordinating the final aspects of how that will be done. As a result, they're not certain of the exact limit of disturbance to install those facilities, therefore triggering our interest in having them confirm with the conservation district that no NPDES permit would be required. So those conditions were also reviewed with the applicant's consultant prior to.
So I will make that motion with the 4 conditions as stated.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
The last project is a stormwater management plan for a single-family residence proposed at 7 Whitetail Drive. The project will require an NPDES permit. The applicant has submitted information to the County Conservation District, has received some review comments, has responded. So that is in process. We had reviewed the plan. They had issued a letter. They had issued an updated submission, and we had responded with our most recent review letter. Therefore, getting us to the point we feel satisfied to utilize that letter as a recommendation for conditional approval. There were 3, I would say, minor waiver modifications related to the stormwater plan. One was fairly typical, related to not having to depict additional physical features beyond the limits of the property. The ordinance requires opportunity to show those up to 200 feet. The second one would be the utilize LiDAR or available aerial topography in lieu of performing field topography as part of that. And number 3 was related to side slopes for swales. The ordinance requirement typically in the residential area is 4-to-1, but we have been, and in the commercial industrial areas allowed 3-to-1 side slopes, both of which are generally considered mowable and maintainable. In some of these projects, and as we've done with others, 3-to-1 slopes can reduce the impact to adjacent wooded areas and other detrimental impacts from expanding limits of disturbance. So in this case, we need to be supportive. So if there aren't any questions, and I did not expect anybody to be in attendance to represent the board, I can proceed with the motions as noted here. I'll deal with all, why don't I read all 3 waivers, and then you can act on those in one. First waiver motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-14B4 of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management Ordinance related to depicting relevant existing features within 200 feet of the subject property and accepting the information currently shown on the plan. Second waiver would be a motion to approve a waiver modification of section 185-14B2 of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management Ordinance related to requirements to provide field run topographic information and authorize the applicant's consultant to utilize available aerial topographic information. The third motion would be related to a waiver to approve a waiver modification of section 185-2781-D5 East Cocalico Township Stormwater Ordinance related to the requirement for 4-to-1 side slopes for swales in residential areas to authorize the use of 3-to-1 side slopes.
Wishes of the board.
I'll make that motion to accept the 3 waivers as read by our engineer.
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any question on those waiver modifications? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. Those 3 motions pass.
I'll read the need for plan approval and administrative motion. First motion would be to conditionally approve the Frederick and Andrea Loud stormwater management plan based on the applicant's consultant. Addressing the comments in the Becker Engineering LLC review letter dated June 10th, 2022 to the satisfaction of township engineer. A motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the improvement guarantee agreement for the Frederick and Andrea Loud stormwater management plan. When executed by the applicant, submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor and accompanied by financial security in an amount satisfactory to the township engineer, form satisfactory to the township solicitor. And motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the stormwater management easement agreement for Frederick and Loud stormwater management plan. When executed by the applicant, submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor. Finally, motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the plan for the Frederick and Loud stormwater management plan when executed and certified by all necessary parties and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor. Once the township has received all other items necessary to satisfy conditions of approval, including providing required financial security and PDF
So, do I make a motion? 1, 2, 3.
I make a motion to approve the 4 motions as read by the engineer.
And I will second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the 4 motions as read? Seeing none, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and those 4 motions carry. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, unless you got anything else, Rich?
Thanks, Brett.
Great,
Have a
thanks,
good night.
Brett.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Okay.
Library, right?
What's that?
Check the person
Oh.
from the library.
Or, yes.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, she's, there she is.
That's my intern. Yes.
That's the
This is the
intern.
intern.
I'm not hitting the intern check.
Your first job is to take a check.
Must be nice to walk into a room and get a check.
She'll take it.
She just said, yeah. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the township manager position. There has been an extensive amount of work done. First, let me say, I'm extremely proud of and happy with the staff, my fellow supervisors, in terms of how much work has been accomplished over this last week without our official township manager. I would almost state personally that I believe we have not skipped a beat. We have been holding together.
We had been holding.
The staff has done an excellent job of stepping up, covering for each other, helping each other out at every twist and turn. There's some procedural things that we've done. There's a number of things that we're getting accomplished. So thank you, and thank you to the staff. So we had, on June 13th, we had an interview from 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning. On June 14th, we had interviews from 9:30 until approximately 12:30. Those were 3 interviews with the firms we had discussed at previous meetings, and those 3 firms were recruiting firms to help us in the process in this current environment of recruiting a township manager. Those 3 firms were Samaritan Consulting Group, Herbine Mostler, and Keystone Municipal Solutions. My personal opinion, and I'll let you gentlemen speak to this, my personal opinion was the professionalism of the 3 firms was outstanding. The information they provided, their methodology for approaching the search for a manager in the current environment was impressive. They really understood, of course, the environment in a recruiting phase in terms of where the current market is. They truly understood and made excellent recommendations in terms of how to proceed forward for us. Okay. So before I say any more, anything you gentlemen like to add or?
Well, I think you made a good comparison there of what I saw as well. You know, the recognition from every one of them was that, you know, it's a challenging job market now to find the right kind of employees. And, you know, I don't think we're going to find it on our own just by advertising. We went through that process and the candidates, we just didn't find anybody that was there that was would suit us, I guess. So, you know, I think our only choice going forward is to have some help finding that person. And, you know, even when it comes to interim help, it's extremely limited. We did check into that, and the options were slim and none. So, yeah, I think this is the next step for us. And it's just a matter of where your preference is with these 3. Before you ask it, the pricing was quite different between the 3 firms. I'm pointing back to Ken. So, you know, not that really makes a difference in my mind, because finding the right person supersedes, you know, the cost of getting it. You know, with that being said, you know, I've got some thoughts about where this ought to go, and, you know, I'll let Lorenzo say anything he's got to there first.
mean, I'll echo to what you guys said. Very professional firms, all three of them. I don't think we can go wrong with either three. I personally have a preference myself. And to back what you just said, the price difference, I mean, it's pretty huge. There's a big price difference between the three. Two of them are pretty close to each other. But I think the level of professionalism is pretty equal across the board. Whether or not, you know, it's hard for me to understand the big difference in numbers. And I asked HR multiple questions today and got a ton of emails back from her. And I wanted to make sure that if I made a decision, if one of my fellow board members would second it or not, I made a right decision. But again, it's out for grabs.
Yeah, I'll echo what Lorenzo's saying, and I'll say it a little bit differently. The firms and what they're offering, their methods of getting help for us, their knowledge of the market, it's practically equal. It's such a difficult decision to make. So just to give you an understanding in full transparency to the public, so one of the firms charges a percent based on the salary, which is what a lot of these firms do. Then there's additional costs if candidates are flown in, if they drive in, if they have to stay overnight. So then there's the additional costs there for the candidates during the interview process. So two of the firms did exactly that type, which is very, very similar, very standard, that type of approach in terms of giving us estimates in terms of the costs. The third firm gave us a flat rate, which is nice to see, and for me it was surprising. It was nice to see, but they did give us a flat rate. So
and to confirm there, just because they gave us a flat rate, I asked multiple questions to verify that that number will not change. And as I was told, that's the number, surprisingly.
And I can't say this sincerely enough. I'm very impressed with my fellow supervisors in terms of how long these interviews went. They were excellent. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of questions being asked. There was a lot of discussion. I had some notes written down in terms of questions. I think I only used one that I used because the discussions alone, the extensive conversations we had, resulted in a lot of subsequent questions. Okay. So,
and I'll just add to that, I think one of the firms was asking us more questions than we were asking them.
which is
And I felt like I was being interviewed extensively by the one firm. And for a moment there, it was, okay, who's the interviewer and the interviewee? But that's okay. That's okay. You know, I think from their perspective, if they're going to be successful, they got to know what we're looking for, you know, some of the history and where this is going, the board vision into the future. So anyway.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, is there any questions or any comments before we kind of ask each other for a motion on which one to pick? Yes, sir.
This is Evan Mac speaking. So imagine that is placement guaranteed? It's not guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Is there a timeline in which it is guaranteed? What's the timeline?
Well, it's the choice we make is guaranteed for a time frame. And then after that is up, it's our choice, it's our baby to work with. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, just so I understand, is that They will provide you with potential candidates,
Correct.
and then you interview them, and then at that point, it's up to you, the board, to make a decision on where to move forward. So they're guaranteed candidates for you in order for you to move through the process. Got it, just want to understand that. And what's the timeline on that?
It varies. There's, some companies said 5 to 6 months. One said they guarantee us to have us a list in 90 days. They were pretty confident on that. The other company also said 5 to 6 months as well.
Yeah.
But it's, obviously, it's not a process that we want to rush, by no means.
I'm not asking.
And we discussed this sincerely. You know, we were honest with each other. You know, this is an important position. The last thing we want is someone to be here temporary. You know, we're trying to build a team here to move forward for the township and let the sky be the limit. So it's an honest conversation we had, and we're very transparent with each other and all three of these firms. So
Thank you for answering my question.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Doug Mack, a question for the elephant in the room. You've discussed very briefly, circumvented everything. What prices are we looking at?
Okay, so HR put together a spreadsheet for us. So we're looking at with one of the consulting firms, Samaritan Consulting Group. Now, we have a variable here, Doug, and the variable is what is the additional cost? So we applied a variable of $5,000 as an additional cost, okay? Assuming a salary, and again, the variable is the salary range. So let's assume we have to, we move up on the salary range to get the right candidate in the current environment. So the variables we plugged in were, if it's a $130,000 salary, okay, package, at 20%, which is that contract, puts us at about $26,000. Then you add the variable of the $5,000. Now you're at roughly $31,000. Okay. So for Herbine Mostler, it was $36,000. We added the $5,000 variable, okay? And that comes out to about $41,000 in total. These are the estimates and the projections we did, okay? Keystone Municipal Solutions, their flat rate cost was $9,500. With Keystone, they do not, we asked the questions numerous times, I read their contract multiple times myself. There are no additional costs. They do it as an all-inclusive fee. So in their case, it's 95. So to Lorenzo's earlier comment, he's 100% correct. The firms professionally it's very, very difficult to differentiate them. There is a big swing in the price.
And to add to that, a lot of my questions were the $9,500 firm, they're guaranteeing us interviews in 90 days, candidates. So my question was, after the 90 days, what's the charge? There is no additional charge. I have it here in black and white. I wanted it in black and white. So, the cost, and it would be 50% at the beginning of the contract, 50% at the end. No additional costs whatsoever, and there's no end date to that. So obviously, depending on what decision we would make tonight, I would personally, if that's the route we go, I would personally like to see an end date just for my mind, because when's enough, If it's 180 days, then they say, see you later. And that, so, yeah.
And the other thing for the public's understanding too is, I'll get back to it. This is an extensive process. These firms build a profile. They sit down and build a profile. They look at the culture. They talk to the employees. They talk to the supervisors. they build a profile on what is the right individual, who is the right candidate. And from that profile, then they go and search those candidates. So there's a very, very, very analytical methodology to how they're determining versus just putting it out on a website and saying, look, we threw it out on 30 different websites. Who's our candidate? How many resumes we can get?
It almost sounds like you're the last person you're talking about, forgive me if I confirm the name, so it sounds like they got a short list already, that they have a standing,
I'm thinking the same thing,
yeah.
But who knows?
Oh, yeah, I know.
They're pretty confident.
I'm questioning that. I don't know that they do or they
Yeah.
don't.
Well, I mean, if they're saying 90 days, they feel pretty confident about something.
And to add to that, when he replied to the email today, he gave us a time frame. Like June 16th, this is what's gonna happen. June 27th, this is what's gonna happen. By September 15th, you know, if we were to go with them, by September 15th, we will have a candidate here to hire.
Who
knows?
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just, you need to talk about
No,
that.
it's a fair comment, and here's how I'll respond to that. I'll give you a little bit more data, okay? And this will probably answer that question or comment. Samaritan Consulting Group and Herbine Molster are executive search firms. They look and they do a lot of work, majority of the work is professional placement of executives with private industry. Keystone Municipal Solutions, when we interviewed them, they do specialize on the municipal side, on the governmental side. I'll just call it the governmental side. So to the point of them being able to say that, I don't know that they have a short list, but I think they're probably, my words, I think they're probably more in tune a little bit in terms of the exact, they might be a couple of steps ahead in terms of exactly because of their network. Okay? I'm sorry, there was a question, yes.
Everybody wants to say, I would imagine that they have a lot of people on the bench, like basically just as far as character and type of personality and fit, but that's how this is how this municipality Keystone probably would work. But my question is, let's just say we pay them $9,500, right? And we go through this 90-day process for 3 days or 150. Let's just say that the candidate gets hired on. Is there anything in the contract that states that if the candidate does not work out past like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, that they will then look for another candidate to fill in that spot where it will fit in?
Go ahead.
Well, yes, there were, in all three of the proposals, there are conditions there in terms of if the candidate doesn't work out, what happens, they go search for another candidate, that kind of thing.
Is there an extra cost to us to do that?
No, not on those contracts that I saw. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and call it. What is the term of the contract?
For the search?
Until the individual is found.
Okay, so it's ongoing.
It's ongoing. Okay. And yes, sir.
Don Miller. Between those three firms, they find the candidates. Do they also pre-interview them before they give them to us?
Absolutely. They pre-screen, they handle all of that.
Extensive process.
Everything. Yeah.
Very extensive.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just have to
Yes,
ask
sir.
one more, I promise I'll quit.
Sorry, that name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Have you, you've done a search on these guys too? I mean, we're searching for the people, but the
Yes.
firms, yeah.
Yes.
And that's a rhetorical question.
Mike Hessian did all that. Mike Hessian had set all these up with Shirley prior to him leaving. And then Shirley just confirmed all the appointments for this week.
Okay, thank you.
And I did that myself, coming from corporate executive. Okay, so here's where the chair gets to go last. What is the wishes of the board?
So I'll make a motion to contract with Keystone Municipal Solutions of Harrisburg for the services of the East Cocalico Township Manager search. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
I will third it.
Matt, I don't think that's procedure, is it?
No, but it's a good joke.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Good stuff.
I actually went there, and that's how I did it.
Only been CAB.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's the most extensive municipal.
Yeah. Okay. Fee schedule, resolution. Jeff, you want to say a couple of things about that one?
So why don't we put that to Judy? She put
Yeah,
that all
Judy.
together.
One
Fee
that you-
schedule is mine.
The fee schedule.
That's me.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's Sharon.
That's for
That's me.
parents.
Go ahead. That's my fee schedule.
That's right.
We were giving Judy the credit.
No, She charges us. me, that's me to work out. So as you know, at the last meeting, we took action on replacing our third-party building code agency and third-party zoning officer agency with Technicon Enterprises. So this is the fee schedule now that I've worked out with Technicon. It's different than the current fee schedule we have. They will completely replace our fee schedule. The process is different. Currently, people come in, applicants come in, and when they ultimately the permit gets issued, they have to pay Commonwealth Code Inspected Services with one check, and they pay the township with another check. That's sort of our so-called sort of an admin fee, okay? The process will be simpler going forward. The applicants will pay one check to the township. And then each month, Technicon will send us a bill for basically their portion of that fee that we collected, that total fee. So it will always be less than, there are probably circumstances where it's equal, where it's a particular type of technical building permit thing, but basically in every circumstance otherwise, they will collect a bill for a smaller amount of money than what we collected. So rather than having, sort of these dual fee schedules, that's how they operate. And that is how a lot of third-party code agencies do their billing. So it's a much simplified process. I've already talked to Judy about it. They are going to, Mike Reiner, who's the co-owner of the company, is going to be bringing in some of the staff people from Technicon to meet with our staff so we can just go over some of these sort of procedural issues. But from that standpoint, it'll be easier. The fee schedule is broken down into projects that only require zoning permits. And actually, we retain all of that money, even though they're doing the work. We get the full zoning permit price. And if you look, none of the zoning permit fees are high at all. They're actually pretty, they're comparable to what we had for those same types of things, or what we should say currently have, except that, I'll leave it at that. And the philosophy there, and I agree with them, is that these kinds of things are relatively minor improvements that don't require a building permit, but we want to get we want to encourage compliance. So if we had a high fee for, say, a fence or something, it'd be easier for someone to look at that and say, no, I'm not going to do that. We want to encourage compliance, so the fees are very reasonable, and Technicon doesn't take any part of that. And then for all other permits or projects where a building permit and a zoning permit are required, there's one, the zoning review is rolled into the building cost of the building permit. It's not called out separately, so
So they're packaged together.
so it's a package deal, and that's how they basically will function there as well. There is going to be a primary zoning officer that who'll be working with us, and a primary building inspector who'll be working with us as our main contacts. But whoever does the reviews in their office internally, it will include the zoning review, which is why anything that is a permit, I think I mentioned 2 weeks ago, anything that's a permit in terms of their work will be covered by the permit fee. We won't be paying them on an hourly rate for that work. We'd only be paying them for an hourly rate for, violation investigations and things like that. So the fee schedule itself is, depending on what the items are, there's a flat fee, and then the price per square foot, or, if there's electrical components, that gets added into it. So it's pretty well impossible for me to compare what they're, it's apples to oranges in terms of like, where will we stand after, say, 6 months in terms of what our revenue has been versus what our revenue will be, because there's so many different types of permits. But Judy and I discussed that again, and Mike as well, that after a few months, we'll take a look and see where our revenue has been, but we will absolutely cover our costs, but we will still be getting sort of an administrative fee, and that should work out to 15-20% admin fee is considered in that realm to be justifiable. So we'll be looking to see something like that. Do you have any questions about the specifics of the fee schedule?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty easy to understand it all, so.
And that'll be put in place, it says July 5th.
Right,
So
when
it'll
they
be-
start.
It'll be coordinated with Technicon starting date.
Correct.
Yep.
So we'll assume that you approve the adoption, we'll have that on the website then, once that takes effect.
Okay, so do we have a motion for resolution 2022-11?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-11, establishing a fee schedule for zoning and building permits for 2022.
I will second that. Any comments or questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this fee schedule gonna be, gonna be available for review? I
Yes,
know
sir.
they always get adopted at the beginning of the year when they reorganize, the solicitor, the engineer is all submitted.
I think, were they not in the packets?
They were in ours.
They were in ours.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And once it's been, if the board adopts it tonight, it's a public document, so I can, yeah.
Is it on the website?
Provide, I can put it on our
We can
website,
put
but
it on
just
the
make
website.
sure that it's clear that it takes effect July 5th.
We can even, Doug, we can even add,
I
actually,
don't know that this has been advertised. I'm sorry, we're having a sidebar.
what we could actually do too is we have the notes, news section of the website. We can add it in the news section
Yeah,
in
that
terms of,
Technicon, actually, that's a really good idea that we're
right
having.
in that news.
Yeah, some people already, it seems to have gotten
No,
now,
this
but
is.
that's a good.
What are you're talking about?
This
The alert.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, never mind, yes, okay.
You're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
only
you-
for the fee schedule.
Yes, no, go ahead, yes, you don't need to read it, no, you can just
No.
move to adopt. Sorry, I was ahead of myself.
No worries. Okay, so we can put it out in the news section of the website,
Yeah, I'll do that.
include
It
with all
also
that,
made clear that it doesn't take effect till July.
with all that information, including the fee schedule, the new company, and then the starting date.
Yep.
Great.
I made a motion. Do I have a second?
So I second.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second for resolution 2022-11. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Sharon.
Now, so the economic revitalization ordinance 2022-02, I believe for this one, we need to advertise this one, is that correct?
Correct. And so what we have done, and by we, I mean the solicitor and staff, is at your direction, we prepared a draft ordinance that really has as its only purpose extending the time period within which applications for the LRTA may be submitted for consideration. Previous actions by the board and adopted in ordinances limited each extension of the LRTA program to no more than 5 years. So this would extend the LRTA, and again, I'll explain why I'm picking and choosing my words, will extend the period for submitting applications by another 5 years, from this November 2022 to November 2027. It doesn't extend the LRTA program per se, because that is, if the application is submitted within the time frame and approved, the benefits of the LRTA program are realized beyond this extension date. Nothing changes about that. So it does require joinder by the school district and the county, and you'll see a copy of the letter that Mike sent out, staff sent out, requesting their consideration of joinder. In order for all of this to be accomplished, our ordinance and resolutions of the county and the school district need to be adopted in order to effectuate this. So those letters only went out June 6th.
Actually, I'll add to that, if that's okay. So the letter for the school, that went to Dr. Ella Musser, superintendent, that went June 9th.
9th, yep.
Okay. And the other letter went
Also June 9th.
June 9th, and that was to Lawrence George, chief clerk of County of Lens.
And I don't imagine we've had any
Thank
responses.
you.
Not yet.
Yeah, so I think we can defer this at least one meeting for consideration of setting a hearing and advertising it. But I don't know that you want to proceed unless we have some indication that our partner governments are going to go along with us.
You know, I think
We do from the school district, but not, I don't think there's been any conversation with the county,
Right.
or at least I'm not aware of any, but the school district at that regional leaders meeting, at least Dr. Musser did voice her support for it,
yes,
but
not
no,
the county.
not the county, right?
No, I think that's the
Yeah.
prudent thing to do, is wait for our partners to respond.
So we can just continue it on the next agenda for an update.
Okay,
But
okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. Got it.
Okay, so police department chief, report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll hit the disappointing part first, and then we'll move on to more encouraging things.
Mike Hession brought it to my attention, and we spoke in reference to applying to the Lancaster County Commissioners for possible reimbursement of 6 patrol cars within or from the county LRTA funding of $106 million. The application was submitted by Mr. Hession, and I received a call from the chief clerk, or I'm sorry, the deputy chief clerk of the county, indicating that the budget director may reach out to me. The working group down at the county spoke and was wondering if there may be some way to do a bulk purchase, save money, etc. The budget director and I played phone tag for a while, but then we made contact prior to a meeting Tuesday, where I explained that that may be somewhat difficult because every department does things different. Some purchase their vehicles, some lease their vehicles. We've changed from where we purchased them now to a place in Allentown, Easton area, because it's a one-stop shop. They're not only, they'll not only sell the vehicles, but they outfit the vehicles. He stated he understood that. He said there was a public workshop meeting at the county commissioners on Tuesday, and asked if, well, he didn't really ask, he just said there may be some questions if you want to attend, if you're available. I said, I will do my best. I attended the meeting because I was going to be down in that area for the DUI a Top Gun award that was later that day. So I went to the county commissioners meeting. Once it got to the ARPA funding and the commissioners had a chance to speak, again, it was a work session, so they were just giving ideas, they were not making decisions. Commissioner Parson voiced his thoughts on how money should be spent, where it could benefit the county in various ways. Commissioner, and I apologize if I mispronounce it, but I think it's Trescott or Trescoat, did the same. Commissioner D'Agostino then spoke about various things that he thought, and specifically stated, and I'm not, this is not an exact quote, but he does not believe that county ARPA funding should be used to purchase police cars. It was the one thing that was specifically spelled out during that meeting. I just wanted to pass that news on. I needed to leave during the public comment so I could make the DUI Top Gun, so that's why I left the meeting. But I was just passing that information on to the supervisor.
That's disappointing. Is that a directive from them, definitive, or is that?
I think that was, they were just giving opinions at that time.
I think the newspaper, if I'm remembering correctly, reported that they were going to be focusing on long-term environmental initiatives for that specific fund of money.
Green projects per se.
Yeah. And I don't recall if that was just a discussion or if they actually acted, because they
do
would
not
have,
believe they acted.
yeah, they would have.
I think the meeting was the following night.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to inform you that occurred, or that I attended. Again, moving on to more positive things, National Night Out donations to date total $8,075 from local businesses. So I believe National Night Out will be a tremendous success on August 2nd at between 6 and 9 in the evening at the Reamstown Park. I'm happy to announce that one of the sink toilet combinations was completed today. They removed the others and then thought that they were missing parts that were going to take 6 weeks to deliver, which would have caused us headaches, but they found the parts that were shipped, so they were able to install one of the units, and the other unit had some issues, so they will return when they get another part. But at least one is functioning, so we're good.
I guess that is the like jackhammer noise that's been in the building for the
They
last...
made quite a bit of noise.
Who's gonna use it first?
Not me. I cannot get into too many details because it was another department that filed the charges, made the arrest, but Officer Johnson, and it was then backed up by Officer McKay last night, made a great traffic stop from a Be on the Lookout that was broadcast from Berks County in reference to a robbery that just occurred. So I'll have more details about that at the next meeting. I don't want to say too much in reference to another agency in Berks County and their investigation. I have been thinking about it for quite a bit of time in reference to the fact that the department was graciously being helped by a 5-point bill ambulance in reference to making identification cards for retired officers. Retired Officer Dave Fisher was helpful in that, but their system had issues, and he said that the template was deleted. So I express my thanks for all the IDs that he made previously, but I would present to the board tonight that I believe it's important that the police department, and also including the township, the water authority, it would be prudent. I even spoke to Mike maybe about providing some IDs for Denver Borough for their employees, but I would like to move forward with a purchase of a dual-sided ID card maker, not only for current employees in the police department and otherwise, but also we're required to provide retired IDs for retired officers so they can identify themselves if they so choose to carry through the federal law that allows retired officers to carry a weapon concealed anywhere in the United States. So it's something that I think is important, potential security-wise. I am not sure if the fire departments have ID makers or.
We don't have any, but we do use our tags for like going to the buildings and stuff. You put your picture there and has just that information on it. So
right, so I didn't know if we could even extend it out farther to help the fire departments, in the process of that. The ID maker that I found, it didn't do extensive research, but there didn't seem to be extensive research to be done in reference to the ID makers. For a dual-sided card, which I would prefer, the entire thing with the camera, 200 blank cards. For your printer warranty, if I read it correctly, technical support, which I'm sure we'll utilize, would be included, and it would be $3,149. And I was shocked at the cost of ID makers, badge makers, or whatever you want to call it.
It's a one-time fee.
It would be a one-time fee. Again, we could utilize it throughout the East Cocalico Township, and if we would extend it to our partners and friends in Denver Borough, I think that would be a kind gesture to them.
Is that something, Chief in the back, is that something even our ambulance can use as well as the firefighters?
Probably. I know the ambulance doesn't have tags, but I think that might come to all the ones that are well spent, but not here, probably be used.
For identification on.
Yeah.
So it's just ID.
Is that, does the finished product, is that something similar to what a driver's license?
I think so, yeah. You can, I guess you could say, tweak it as, this is the outside of the cover, which is, similar.
It's similar, yeah. Laminated and all that.
Like basically
Looks like a
the
credit
size
card.
of a credit card. Yeah.
Credit card size.
How many cards come with that again?
The initial is 200, and then I was looking at, I believe, additional cards. Find it. Range anywhere from $26 for 100 to ones that would have a magnetic stripe on the back. If you would do something with that, would be $49 up to $79. But those look to appear that they have an adhesive to them, which we wouldn't utilize. So anywhere from $26 to $64 for 100.
And they wouldn't need to access the building, like we'll still use the key fobs and that.
Yes,
Unless
that was
we
my
update
plan.
that
I
as
wasn't
well.
getting
No,
into
yeah,
that.
we don't want that, the cost of
Yeah.
that.
Correct.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Lorenzo, that's my question.
Is that something, I guess we could ask the roadmaster, is that something that the road crew
Oh,
could also utilize?
yes, I thought they could. I mean, we can make IDs for all employees.
Okay. These are contractors. I think it makes sense. It brings us back into the 21st century again.
And it is
we need.
something that if we wouldn't purchase, and I'm not trying to sway things, I'm just making the information available for a retired ID, we would have to send them to a company that does it to produce the ID for them and get that for them. So I figured we could just do it in-house and also have our officers.
We could also extend that as a courtesy, depending on how many we have, to the adjacent fire companies, if they're interested.
Just so I'm not the one sitting making hundreds of IDs on.
We'll have to hire someone.
I think we can handle it, or we can work something out with the township staff also. Maybe a couple people can be trained.
Yes, sir.
So, just a further
I'm sorry, name, please.
Sure, Everback Lennis, is there any way to innovate technology so you can use that badge to kind of access buildings and stuff? And the reason why I ask that is because when you have a lot of IDs and badges and stuff like that, it can get lost or misplaced, or it just also becomes a liability as well in case someone loses it. So I'm just thinking some way to integrate technology so that way, whatever, that it can make it a little more easier for everybody. But again, I'm just thinking outside the box.
Well, I think, like Chief said, there will be no access to the building with it, and it'll have your picture on it, I assume.
Yeah, we would do that.
So if Joe Schmo gets it and tries to get in a place and he doesn't look like him, I doubt he's getting anywhere, right? But he won't have access to get in our building.
If you're handing them out to retirees, they would really have no.
The point I'm trying to make is that, like, as an RN or, for other municipalities or other places that you have no badge to get it out, I like the idea, like, it looks a lot more professional and you know what you're dealing with, but again, some way of integrating the technology would be, but it's always cost factor too, so it's just kind of sure about this stuff already.
There's a device that's $6,099 that has the ability to encode options, or has encoding options.
But
Almost double.
that's on the transceiver side, but now you need the receiver.
On the door,
You need one on every single door.
Right.
3140.
3149. Now that's, I have not checked in to see if there would be a government type discount or those type of things. I wasn't gonna put time into it if it was not an idea that would be workable.
I personally would like to be interested in doing that, Chief. I think, like you said, it's a safety issue. I think if you can check to see, is there any discount we would get as a municipality versus other customers?
I will do it.
Okay. You okay with that, Jeff?
Is there a line item in the budget where that would?
I'm not exactly sure where we would pull it from. I know that if we would use it throughout, if we split the cost through the two budgets, or how would we work that out? Or if other monies would be available from something that would that apply to that? Those monies available, I'm not sure.
So that's something that has to be looked at.
Up in the air.
Yeah, I would say it would fall under our office equipment. But I don't know what is available in those lines.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this time.
In the meantime, I'd say as well, I'd get some more information and maybe we can act on it.
Okay.
There's a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
I know, Chief, you got that one price, but did we look at custom computers or anyone else for, like, locally, so you don't have a a maintenance fee or a support fee?
I did not. I just, I've been receiving these for quite a while and thought I could kind of get a ballpark figure. I did look on something, like Amazon and the different websites, and those costs seem to be similar across the board, so, but I can look into that.
As a basic feature, I would know how much support you're gonna need for it.
Okay, thank you.
And the last thing I have is just a quick discussion in reference to the potential or possibility of starting a K-9 unit within the department. There's been some research done by Corporal Luongo in reference to it. He has provided me different information. He's spoken to various departments that have a K-9, the city department in reference to training. It will be a ongoing discussion if it's something that the board feels time should be spent researching further. And I believe it's a great device or unit for the community, not only community relations, but also for actual deployments of the K-9 unit. It was looked into in reference to vet coverage costs. So there's a lot of different factors that go in. Liddittsboro was kind enough to speak to Corporal Luongo, and they started a 501c3 in reference to nonprofit, and they funded their K-9 unit completely through community donations. The biggest cost they indicated would be the car to be upfitted with the, I don't want to call it a cage, but the device or unit in the back of the car to hold a K-9. So you're talking, I think he said somewhere around $10,000 for the unit in the car. My thought is if we're going to be purchasing new cars next year, as a possibility and a plan, we could just outfit one of those cars right off the bat with the K-9 unit in the back. So again, I was kind of looking for a little bit of direction from the board in reference to, is this something that could be discussed and more concrete numbers, or maybe a presentation be brought at a later time to speak about that or investigate it.
Because I raise animals, I'm getting looked at.
I thought you were gonna speak first. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, well, okay. Either way. Yeah, I'd like to sit down with you sometime. There's a lot of questions I have about that, from the financial end to the success at other departments, or ones that have even abandoned that kind of program. So maybe we can set up a time that you can hear what my concerns are. We can try and figure out if there's some answers to it.
I think it's a good idea, but again, I'd want to also see, financials, if it'll make sense or not. I'm sure with the great community we have around here, doing something similar to what Lidditz did, I'm pretty confident we could make it work one way, shape, or form. But I think it'd be a great addition to East Cocalico as a whole and our neighboring boroughs and townships. We would just have to get more details and go from there. And we're still in the early stages, but for discussion, I think it's a good idea.
I think and I don't want to misspeak, but if I understood correctly, Lidditz from start to finish was a year plus process in reference to the whole thing. So this is not something that you approve next week and I send somebody off to get a dog and go from there. So it is a process.
Chief, I would like to also see the information. Okay. The costs more or less the operational cost for that type of K-9 unit over a year? What do the other departments need? I personally think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, actually, because of a couple of reasons. I remember correctly, maybe just after I became a supervisor, or just before, wasn't there some kind of incident where, if you can even comment about it, where there was some kind of bank robbery and our officers actually chased someone into a field?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yes, K-9 was not deployed at that time.
Right,
But if there would have been one available, sure, it would have been used.
Right, I'm thinking about the safety of the officers. That would be the ideal situation where the K-9 would be released in the field, right?
I would assume I'm by no means an expert in this, so I would defer that. But I know there was success when the individual ran and was hiding in Reamstown off of Keeler Avenue, and the sheriff's department brought their K-9 up, and there was successful apprehension of that subject.
Can you, the other thoughts I had on this are, it could be a win-win for the community because of, can you check with the other departments? What about silver alerts? As we have an aging population and someone gets lost in a field. Nelson's pointing to himself. I didn't say you're aging. But someone gets lost in a cornfield.
And that's the other thing that will help with the Project Lifesaver that we're going to be purchasing shortly too, but it would absolutely be another tool.
Those are my thoughts.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a question.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a really good idea, because we have open borders, and he's gonna ship the people all over the place. So we don't know how many people can speak English and don't know the word stop.
Okay. Right, thank you, Chief.
Sure.
Okay, Community Development Director. Sharon.
Okay, just have a few other things I wanted to talk about. I emailed you, I think, yesterday about Mr. Hurst's request that we meet with John Schick out at his property to try to give him an idea of where the roundabout would extend onto his property. I did talk to John, pretty much said what I had expected, what he had told Glenn Hurst in the past, that because the project hasn't gotten to any kind of a real design phase yet, he wouldn't be able to really depict on the ground where it would go. They have, they basically have a pretty good idea of where the edge of the roundabout pavement and all that would be, but it's unknown at this point how much space would be needed for adding signage, streetlights, and then of course there's the stormwater management, which is really completely unknown at this point. So he'd be more than happy to meet out there if that's the board's wish with us, but he just wanted to make sure it was clear that he does not want to represent anything. He can't, for one thing, but he doesn't want to be making representations that would likely be, very different down the road.
Right.
So, but he is more than happy to talk with Glenn, out there if that be the board's pleasure. So I just want to get some direction from you as to what you want.
Yeah,
if you want us to go ahead and do that.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a little premature at this time. I think we need to wait until you get further down the road.
Okay.
My thought.
Okay, and then by way of follow-up to that, John wanted to get some feedback from you in terms of whether you want him to proceed to the next level for to work on the design, because at this point their work is on hold. They hadn't gotten definite direction from the board yet on that, so he asked me to just check in with you to see what you were thinking at this point, and make sure that they're not, they're just not holding anything
right
further with it.
perhaps a brief outline from him stating what the next step is, approximate cost analysis, that kind of thing, from here on out.
Yeah, that's, not a small scope.
Yeah.
A small scope and next steps that he would need in terms of, which would help them take that conceptual idea and give it more granular.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm clear, what do you mean by small scope?
What are the next steps? What do they need, what do they need from us?
All right,
What does he need specifically from us in terms of the next steps?
okay,
And what would those next steps entail? Okay, if he were, and what they would entail, and what Jeff said, what the cost would be.
got it. Okay, and then,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
and also timeline, lead time for that. You okay with that, Lorenzo?
Yep.
Jeff?
All right, and then the last thing I really have is actually another John Schick item. Back a few months ago, there was the discussion about CDN Smith doing the preemption.
Yes.
Okay, and Mike sent out a letter to Steve Sawyer at Cocalico Township regarding their interest in splitting the cost of that work, because I guess it's,
Yeah, half
It's
is
in
up in
half,
township, half
right.
is ours.
So-
It'll be North Reading and Gardens.
I was wondering if, well, he's wondering if anyone has received any kind of response from Steve at all?
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen any.
Okay,
Actually, I guess there were some comments in the paper. I don't know if anybody else saw them, but Effort Township was hoping that they had been approached about this prior to, us voting and moving forward with it, to ask if they had interest in splitting the cost with us. I don't know if that had gotten back to you at all.
I did not see that.
Yeah, well, so, I don't know that they had made a decision on it, but according to the newspaper, there had been talk about it in Effort Township. So, whether somebody needs to reach out to Steve Sawyer,
Okay, I can do that.
See where they're coming from,
I can do that,
get an official response,
okay.
because the paper isn't always correct, as we know. Sorry, Larry.
All right, yeah, I can do that. That's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, financial administrator, Judy.
Yes, good evening.
Evening.
Tonight, I have two motions that I would like the board to consider. The first one is on the paid internship program for high school students that we've been talking about in the last couple meetings. I sent a memo out on June 6th to the supervisors explaining the product, or the program. The program entails hiring three interns for the summer. One to work in the community development department, one to work in the accounting office, and a third to work with general government type items, like to help the recording secretary with minutes or agendas or copies or all that kind of thing. Each position would work 15 to 20 hours a week. Pay would be at $15 an hour, and the program would last approximately 8 to 10 weeks from June 20th until school starts again. I believe the start date is August 26th. I do have one of the candidates here tonight. This is Brianna Hensinger, and she is the community development candidate. She is a freshman at Penn State University. She just graduated this year from Cocalico High School. So this is Brianna.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Main campus or
Yes.
at Maine? Okay, great.
And we do have candidates for the other two positions. They are both seniors now that the school year is over, so they'll still be at Cocalico next year. One is an AP government student, and the other one is an accounting student. All three of these candidates were recommended and vouched for by their counselors and their teachers at Cocalico School District. So the program, I think I pretty much went over all the details, except for a dress code, which I don't know if you want to include that. My suggestion would be business casual or, jeans if they could wear jeans every day. But the total cost of the program over the 8-week or 10-week period would be about $7,000 to $8,000 for a budget.
Gentlemen, wishes, questions?
Yeah, Brianna, what's your major in? Government?
Architectural engineering.
Oh, okay.
I'm standing.
Nice. Well, this would give you a good base to start from. Yeah, I think I guess we're not making a lot of progress out at the shed on the boxes.
Not since March.
Yeah, I think in order to get that up and moving in the right direction, some extra help is needed. Yeah, I'm all for favor of it. I think everyone's covered here. Did you see anything?
No, I think it's the right thing to do, and I think it's great to have young, fresh minds step in and learn about their local municipal. It helps them with their future. It helps all of us with our future as they learn. It's a great resume builder, especially for architectural. Lorenzo, any comments?
All for it.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
You want to,
No, that we don't need it's just the interim program.
I'll make a motion to approve the intern program.
I will second that.
Welcome.
Any questions? Comments?
Motion second.
Okay, motion and a second. Seeing no questions or comments, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Welcome.
Wow.
Thank you very
Wait,
much.
opposed, none.
Very,
Now the motion carries.
very grateful.
Welcome for the third time. Welcome to East Cocalico.
Okay, the next motion is on spending limits for staff. There has been some confusion as far as getting items ordered and approved as to what levels the different positions have. So again, I submitted a memo to the supervisors on June 8th requesting certain limits by the positions held by people, not by specific individuals. Did you want me to read through these limits, or how would you like to handle this?
I read it.
I read it all. I think they're all similar to where we were with most everything. There's a few little tweaks here and there, but
There were no changes.
Go ahead, just read them, that way everyone knows.
Okay, so the first one is for the township manager, $2,500 for supplies, uniforms, legal advertisements and training, $5,000 for equipment and maintenance, and $10,000 for engineer, solicitor, and audit fees. The chief of police, $2,500 for supplies, uniforms, and training, $5,000 for equipment and maintenance, and $77,500 for ammunition. The director of community development, $1,000 for supplies, uniforms, legal advertisements, and training, $2,000 for equipment and maintenance, $5,000 for engineer solicitor fees related to community development projects. The MS4 technician, $1,500 for supplies needed for MS4 projects, and $250 for equipment needed for efficient running of Board of Supervisors meetings. The roadmaster, $1,000 for supplies, uniforms, and training, $2,500 for supplies needed for road projects, and $5,000 for supplies, services needed to keep roads open during weather events. The human resources coordinator, now I have her on my list because she is quickly becoming the purchasing department. So I wanted to make sure she had some limits as well. And her limits are $1,000 for office and building supplies ordered from Office Basics or Amazon, and $1,500 for purchases authorized by other department heads made online using the township credit cards.
I will add to that. One of the things that I want the public to understand also too is you, as the financial administrator, you have no purchasing authority. That's to keep the compartmentalization and to keep the checks and balances in place, because Judy's actually reviewing those purchases for the other individuals. Okay? So.
Thank you, Judy. Thanks for reading.
Okay.
Got a motion, please.
Yeah, that would be a motion, yeah, to approve those. Want to make that? So I will make a motion to approve the spending limits for township purchases as outlined by our financial administrator in her document of June 8th, 2022.
I will second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, that motion carries. Okay. That's what you have, right? So-
I have some other items
Yep.
too. As far as motions, that's all I have. I wanted to mention that on Tuesday of this week, I held an informational meeting with the entire board regarding some information I found on ARPA funding in Upper Darby Township, and I made some suggestions on how we should handle that funding going forward. I will be writing a resolution to present at the next meeting to get the projects that we currently have agreed to do onto our budget as budget appropriations. So that will be coming in the next meeting.
And if I can add to that, Judy, that was actually a forensic audit which was conducted of Upper Darby Township based on the ARPA funding application of how they were applying those funds. Thank you.
Another item I have is I wanted to make the board aware that the IRS has increased the mileage rate for the remainder of 2022 from July 1st to December 31st. It has gone from 58.5 cents a mile up to 62.5 cents a mile, and I do believe that you typically make a motion to set that rate at the beginning of the year, so you may need to make a motion to implement the new rate. This was not on the agenda. I just discovered this afternoon.
Okay. So we'll use that as information for this one. We'll address that one in the next meeting.
So that takes effect in
July 1st.
Yeah,
That's right.
we can do it, that's right.
Okay. And then the last thing I have is I did submit reports. I submitted my usual balance sheets and budget status reports. There's also a report of receipts that have been received since June 1st, since they're not included in these reports. My cutoffs for these reports was May 31st.
Okay.
So if you have any questions on those, I can address them now.
Thank you, Judy.
That's everything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Roadmaster's report.
Good evening.
Good evening, Brendan.
So, I have one action item tonight, kind of continuing from the last meeting in reference to the Township Woody Waste Yard site. I did some research. Back in 2015, we used Ziegler Brothers out of Middletown. The cost for them, so I reached out to Ernie Miller from Ziegler Brothers to give me a quote based on our Woody Waste site currently. He noted that they cannot get in until the end of July. He had swung down to check out our Woody Waste site and gave me a price in an email saying that they can grind and remove the existing pile and what accumulates by the time we will get there in July for $4,200. The last bill for Martin's mulch back on October of 21 was $5,400. With that being said, I know with some of the research that went into this, we do have a contract agreement with Martin's mulch to grind and haul away mulch from the township's Woody Waste site. This was an agreement to grind brush for the remaining back then at 2015 and continue annually until written notice to end the agreement is executed.
Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of the vote of the board to give me a direction as far as Martin's mulch or Ziegler Brothers moving forward with the Woody Waste pile.
Thoughts?
Mr. Cream. A termination letter to discontinue this. I'm wondering if that was on a yearly basis. They have to be given a certain amount of time to.
If there's a contract, we need to look at the contract.
So I guess we table it to the next meeting and look at the contract and see what the terms are and go from there.
Well, it's a nice pile of money we would save there to move to Zager Brothers. I think it's worth taking the time to look into. Do we have a little more time there on the pile, Brett?
Yeah, he just basically wrote me an email and said to let him know at this as soon as we can to get him on the schedule for the end of July. So I mean, if the pile itself, there is definitely some room out there. I just wanted to have it approved that it's getting close to needing done, but there is room out there that we can wait until the next meeting to get final approval, then to get on schedule.
So we have time.
Correct.
Yeah, let us research that.
Okay.
Thanks for finding that though.
Absolutely. Moving forward with my Roadmaster report, couple update items. Pool coping through Henley Masonry. This is going to be done at the end of the pool season. The vendor actually sent the wrong coping to the contractor. I was notified this at the end of last week. The contractor reached out to me saying that he's in another waiting game for this product to be to his shop. And I stated that, the baby pool are open currently. The road crew did a repair leading up to the pool being open to get us through until the coping can be installed. So it's fully functionable. It's up and running. So we will address that once the pool season is complete with the new coping. All new signs for Wabash Road have been installed by the road crew. These signs were placed between Reamstown Road and North Reading Road, also Line Road and North Reading Road as well. This project was done based off of the weight limit signs and stuff like that with the pole on Wabash Road. Reamstown pool update. Now that the pool is open, a road crew member has been stopping at the pool location once a day just to check on pumps, clean skimmers, add water if needed, and take care of any maintenance items needed. On-site pre-construction meeting with road improvement contractors have been set for tomorrow, Friday, 6/17/2022 at 10 a.m. After this meeting, a tentative date will be known by the township as to when the contractors are looking to complete East Cocalico Township projects. And then the last update I have, the road crew truck that has been ordered for 2022 is now not guaranteed for 2022. I was told by the salesman in an update that GM is not building any more trucks for 2022, and most likely our truck will be now a 2023. Our truck is showing awaiting to be built in the GM database, according to the email that I received from Bill Miller from Turner Chevrolet. My question to Bill, based off of that, was, you know, is our price set in stone from 2022 to 2023? And his reply, as I read, as far as price protection, I wish I could say yes. In years past, GM will look at things on a case-to-case basis and sometimes would honor a deal made. Currently, with a lack of inventory, GM no longer is willing to negotiate. They're going to go up in price and basically tell me to take the next deal or take the next deal or the dealer will. Is what his response was from GM or from Bill Miller, from Turner Chevrolet, from GM.
Brett, not
Yes, sir.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
But yeah, I'm not surprised either. I just want, like I said, I wanted to give you an update on the truck, where it's at.
Okay.
And I had sent out an email to, because my concern with that is I sent out an email. I have not received a response from EM Kutz in relation to the upfitting truck, the upfitting bed that we were receiving for this truck. That's supposed to be delivered in August. So it's the matter of what they're going to do with that. You know, does that bed sit there for until our truck comes, or do they sell that bed and, you know, remake ours next year when we get our truck? I have not received a response yet from EM Kutz in reference to that. So once I have that, I will provide that to the board.
Understood, Brett. Hey, thank you for working this. Being in the industry, I understand exactly what you're going through. Just try to do the best you can right now.
Correct. And like I said, I will update you with all the information that I'm given at this current time is the information that I'm providing to you guys tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking ahead and kind of current right now, road crew is currently working on repairs before the road improvement projects. This consists of base repairs, road edge cleaning, storm pipe repairs, and tree trimming along these roadways. Road crew is currently working in Reamstown Heights to repair any stormwater pipe that is too damaged and deformed and cannot be lined under the lining project. This work will be completed by the time the roadways are resurfaced under the road improvement projects. Roadside mowing will continue through the summer months. The list has been provided. And let me see here, just looking forward, just to kind of where we're at right now with the road improvements projects approaching, and also the fall. Eventually, crack sealing patches and roads will continue with the road crew. Also, tree trim along township roads will continue as well. List provided by the roadmaster. And one additional item here I placed on Tuesday. I was actually yesterday morning. I was emailed from Kim Portner from the snack bar. The state inspector was at the snack bar on Tuesday at the Reamstown Pool snack bar, and it was inspected. And at this inspection, the only thing that failed in the snack bar was the three bay sink in the snack bar. There's sharp edges in the corners of each 3 bays, which causes grease and cleaning supplies to sit there. He had a fuss on this, wrote a report. I have the report. I will forward those reports as I was just giving those to you guys. And I'm in the process of looking to see what kind of sinks are out there, what kind of sinks we can purchase and get them and he gave us till the end of July to get a new sink installed there at the snack bar at the pool.
Okay.
So that's all I have for tonight. Like I said, I will get over those reports to you from the, actually, I think Judy may have sent that out earlier today as far as the inspection report from the state inspector.
Brad, she did, I have it here.
Okay,
I
okay.
got it on email. Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. And
Okay.
that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Brett.
you. Thank you.
Okay, MS4, question, sorry. Yes, sir.
Nelson, question to his comments about the truck, you ordered a truck and delivered in 2022. They won't deliver it until 2023, and they won't guarantee the price. So therefore, I don't think you have a valid award anymore. Do you re-enter and look at Ram and Ford and that kind of start the process all over?
Nelson, yes, agreed. I think the first thing is for Brett to do what he's doing now, which is to press Chevrolet to honor that price and deliver that product.
RC, I'd like to add to that, just on a side note. Ram is no longer on CoStars. So that kind of cuts out one of the vendors as well.
But Brett, question for you, the
Yes, sir.
bed, the bed, is that specific, make specific? So we are stuck with a Chevy, I assume, right?
Correct. It was built to the chassis of the truck, correct?
Yeah.
That's a good point, yes.
Delivered until August.
The bed.
The bed.
So has it been manufactured
And
That's what he's checking.
that's part of what he's checking. Yeah,
Yes, that's the response I'm waiting to hear back from.
yes.
Because I played that game too.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah,
All the pieces have to come together and it doesn't always flow.
yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Okay, MS4. Ken, anything?
Yes, been very busy with inspections and scheduling inspections, and that's most of what I've been doing lately. I sent out 70 different letters to individuals and organizations for doing inspections, and they're moving along well. I've done quite a few of them, a lot more scheduled, and there's still quite a few more people to hear from. And so when things start quieting down a little bit, then it's when I do the second round of contacting people that hadn't contacted me yet. So it's going to keep me busy for a while.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, a total general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $271,814.14 with a starting date of June 13th through June 16th. Is there any questions on the bills as presented? Yes, sir.
Right, Wise. Page 405, check number 62513, dated 6/16/22, the Winning Touch Nursery, $675, and it's listed as repairs. What did Winning Touch go with the repair business?
Winning Touch. Yeah, I remember that. Or was that the one where we were repairing park benches?
Do you have it there? We can get that, wait, sir.
We can get that for you.
Or do you
Judy's
have it?
pulling it. There was many of the park benches, I think, up at the pool are not in good shape, and they bought lumber and new ends.
Winning Touch, park bench ends with hardware.
So that's the concrete ends or?
How many was that, Judy? I think it was like 15?
10.
10?
And it's $67.50 each.
Okay, thank you.
And there was a separate bill for treated lumber
I was just gonna say.
to go through it. That was part of an A.B. Martin bill.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Seeing none, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. Motion carries.
Okay, and we have a total light fund bank account of with bills in the amount of $13,100.10 with a check date of 6/16/2022. I make a motion to present that bill, or pass that bill as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any questions, comments on that one? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
And we have a electronic payment list of bills in the amount of $87,137.65. And this is for a payroll for the pay period of May 22nd to June 4th of 2022. I make a motion to approve as presented. Do we hear a second?
And I will second that. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, that motion carries.
And last of all, total general fund bank account on a supplemental list of bills in the amount of $34,693 for a check date of June 16th of 2022. And this is for a release of escrow funds. So is there any questions on that? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, any comments or questions? Seeing none, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
That is the treasurer's report for tonight.
Okay, great, thank you, Steve. Thank you. Okay, new business, July 7th Board of Supervisors meeting. Jeff, you want to say a couple of things there?
Yeah, when you look at our normal meeting calendar, I guess in the past it has been that there is one meeting in July. The way the calendar sets up this year, today being June 16th, you go out 2 weeks, we're still in the month of June, meaning June 30th. So, we're looking 5 weeks out till the next scheduled Board of Supervisor meeting as it sits currently. And with all the business we have going on, I feel 5 weeks is way too far. I think we have to keep getting business done. So I would suggest that we advertise and hold a Board of Supervisor meeting here on July 7th at our typical 7 o'clock time frame, if you gentlemen are so inclined.
Personally, I agree. We've got a lot going on, and hopefully we can have some preliminary feedback on a candidate search for the manager.
You are hopeful, right?
I'm very hopeful. So, what do you think? Yes.
I forgot to mention something else that we're facing for that week is July 4th is a Monday.
Yeah.
And that's payroll week. So I need to ask the chief, and hopefully Brett is still on, if you can get the timesheets to us earlier, because we'll need to rush to get things done on Tuesday to have the file to the bank by 1 p.m. for the direct deposits.
When do you need them by? You said earlier, day before? What?
As long as we have them in hand at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, we should be able to finish it.
Okay, there's your deadline.
Brett is not on Zoom anymore.
Okay, so we'll let him know. You want to let him know?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I will make a motion that we have a East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors meeting on Thursday, July 7th, 2022 at 7 p.m. here at 100 Hill Road. In conjunction with that motion is providing public notice of the meeting.
Advertised notice.
Advertised notice.
Properly advertised notice.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? We have a motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, that motion carries. So we will, again, for the public's information, we are going to have the July 7th meeting here. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to defer a little bit to Doug on this one, as well as to Alan, because your Troy Texter has been providing and working with the flowers and the plants in the building for how long now? A long, years.
Scott Russell. Scott Russell's been.
So it's.
He's become more involved as years go on.
Right, so he's done an outstanding job in maintaining the flowers and the plants. He does it completely on his own time. He volunteers his time. So what I would like to do, gentlemen, is I would like, you're okay, that I'd like to send him a formal thank you letter signed by the 3 supervisors, just to thank him for his volunteering and the amount of time he's been doing this.
Yeah, I would also like to add to that, in 2020, we reimbursed him for the cost of the flowers and the plants that he put in. I tried to do that last year for him, and he said, no, he said he wanted to do it as a volunteer, volunteering his time. He paid for the flowers and the plants. He's kept them all looking very nice throughout the summer, meticulously putting them in.
That check in 2020, he wouldn't cash it, he returned it, and I voided it.
That's correct. I remember that now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he does such a good job of putting the flags in as you see them out front. He spends a lot of time here, and, you know, kudos to him. He does a really nice job of making things look good out there. So it's entirely appropriate to send him a thank you letter, and I'm 100% behind that.
Okay, so yes, sir.
Nelson will put it in the paper.
He asked that he not be.
He doesn't want to be
recognized.
He likes to.
He's
true volunteer.
Yes.
Put it in the shopper.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and then
Send that out.
Send that letter out. Okay, thank you. So at this time, I am going to ask that we go to executive session.
You're gonna get done on.
You had said, so we could do it now, but.
Well, I would prefer to do it.
Okay.
So we're going to go to executive session to discuss a police personnel matter.
And we will be returning to the public session.
And we will be returning this.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I'm sorry, Doug Mack, do you expect a vote?
We expect a vote.
Do you?
Yes.
So the board is returning from an executive session that went from 9:15 to approximately 11:15 p.m. Gentlemen, based on the discussions in the executive session, I make a motion to approve the demotion of Sergeant Joshua Sola to the rank of patrolman. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recuse myself. You abstain.
You abstain?
I abstain.
Okay, motion passes with one abstention.
think we're at old business.
We are at old business, yes. So vacancy board member candidate, gentlemen.
Technically, the vacancy board
Table that?
chair.
Vacancy board chair.
Chair, that's the chair, right, so we'll table that one. I think we'll table the volunteer firefighters for now.
Sure.
And I think we had one question, Matt, about the employee manual.
It is an open record,
Okay.
subject to the right to know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, clarification.
Thank you for that. So that takes care of that question. Okay, public comment. Public comment for non-agenda items. Again, please state your names clearly. It just helps Lisa with the meeting minutes. Any questions?
Just a comment dogmatically, I know you're running out of time, I realize that, but your vacancy board thing, you're not, I don't understand why you did it, but
We'll get to it.
at your convenience. We sat here waiting for all this. It's not funny, Jeff.
Okay.
Glad we're part of it.
All right, so the next Board of Supervisors meeting will be held on Thursday, July 7th, 2022. And that will be in person and live here in the building and via Zoom. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. The motion carries. Thank you, everyone.